Welcome back to another episode of the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. This is episode 149. I hope everyone is having a great day, great night, wherever you are around the world. I hope you guys had a great 4th of July weekend. It was kind of long. It felt like it wasn't going to end, but down here in Florida, it rained for most of the day, and we got into the beach later on during the day, had some fun with friends, family, fireworks, all that kind of stuff. A lot of sports news going on, of course, this week. Caitlin Clark returning tomorrow to action after missing the past 5 WNBA games. We do have a guest for tonight's show, so you don't have to listen to me the entire episode. But without further ado, his name is Jay Roebuck. He's also a rising TikTok content creator. He's a rising star in the sports media world. We've seen him do some podcast stuff. It's great to have him on. So, Jay, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate you inviting.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here in front of your guests and all your fans and just share some love. And I'm out here from New York City, so sending love down to Florida. We got the East Coast connection, so I'm sure this will go great.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited to have you on. We connected through TikTok. I saw you commented on the Andre Iguodala Stephen Curry post, and I was like, all right. And then I clicked on your profile because sometimes you get trolls, you don't know who it is. And then I was like, all right, this guy, like, he's got a page, he's got a following. I think this would be great to invite him on the show. And here you are, man. It's great to have you on.
Yes, I am Steph Curry's unofficial TikTok agent and bodyguard. So when I see any kind of Steph Curry engagement going on, I got to make sure everything is right. So that's why I had to comment, but I'm happy you wrote me back and I'm happy I'm here.
I love it, man. I love sports banter. I love sports debating. It's all love at the end of the day, of course. And that's, I think, what makes it so special. But for those of people actually that don't know who you are, or just now seeing you from, us connecting, just give yourself a short little brief introduction and kind of take it from there.
All right. So my name is Jay Roebuck. I'm from Harlem, New York. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, and I talk about sports, I talk about music.
And guys, before we officially start the show, make sure to follow the Inquisitive Mamba podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And also make sure to follow Jay Roebuck on both of his socials on Instagram and TikTok. His TikTok is j.roebuck1 and his Instagram is j.roebuck. So make sure to follow him on both of those platforms. You won't be disappointed. He's got content coming out. Pop culture, entertainment, sports, you name it. He's a big Drake fan, and I'm actually happy to have him on the show because I love Drake as well. Yeah. And Drake just dropped a new song, What Did I Miss? So we got to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we could jump right into it, right? So
let's do it.
Those of us who have been tapped in on X, on Drake's Finsta, which is called Plot Twist, he has been teasing that the Iceman was on the way. So when he put out this Instagram post, be ready at 9:00, people didn't know what to expect. Is it a song? Is it a video? Is it a stream? Is it a steak ad? Is it Drake's newest bet? Nobody knew, right? So I had to do my research. I found out it was going to be some music that was on the way. And the way that he rolled it out was pretty interesting. He did it on a live stream, which is something he's been experimenting with over the past year. You saw him with Ayton Ross. You've seen him with XQC. He's always calling into Kai. He's with Ben the Don. So he's tapped into the streamer world. So I think he used that to roll out this song to try to combine the best of both worlds. And as we got into the song of him actually performing it and driving through the streets of Toronto, it's a catchy hook, What Did I Miss?, which is relatable to all people. But of course, he had to touch on his feud last year with Kendrick Lamar and some of the people that he considered his friends who were at the pop-out show and who have been, playing Not Like Us for the world to hear and showing themselves dancing to it. And Drake took offense to that. And he let it be known again, right? He's been telling people for the past year.
So while Kendrick Lamar was having his fame, his moment for the Super Bowl halftime show, do you think Drake was behind the scenes kind of cooking this song up while all this was starting to go on?
That's Drake he's the petty king. So every single thing that had to do with Kendrick Lamar in the limelight, he was watching. His team is watching, and they're taking notes, putting names on the list, and thinking about how do we address this. And I think that moment for him last year was a time to go back to the drawing board and begin to plan methodically, which I think that was the one mistake he made during the whole back and forth was the strategy from Kendrick Lamar was A1 and Drake was just a step behind. And I think that was the biggest difference. I don't even think it was the music. I think it was just strategy. So I think he went back to the drawing board and he said, we're going to do this right. And we're going to do it methodically. And we're going to really press the issue. So I think he cooked up the song. I think he cooked up the rollout. He cooked up this alter ego of the Iceman. All of these things have been brewing for a long time. And now we get to watch it roll out in front of the whole world.
So when I first saw it originally, I saw the picture. He was wearing an Iceman bracelet, and I
Mm,
know Drake fans, of course. I don't know if there's a Taylor Swift Drake collab in the works. I don't know, but it was cool to see that he was wearing a friendship bracelet. And I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm sure you've seen some of my content, but I thought it
okay.
was really cool. And that was my very first thought. I was like, is Drake, is he like, I know you say he's the petty king and he knows what he's doing. He's always got stuff up his sleeve. He's got a great PR team, but I don't
Hmm.
know, maybe a Taylor Swift Drake song on the way. That would be awesome, dude. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. And I mean, of course, you had Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift. They had Bad Blood years ago, but I mean, Drake, Kendrick, Taylor Swift. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be marketing genius by his part if he could get her on a song. That would
Yeah.
be insane.
I
Imagine.
think those two collaborated would break the internet. I think, Taylor's obviously the biggest pop star. Drake is the biggest. I mean, rap is pop now, so he's the biggest pop star who's in the rap world and the hip hop
Yeah.
space. So I think the two of them together would do some damage. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think it'll do some damage.
I think that I've listened to rap a really long time. You grew up in Harlem, you know way more about rap than I do, but I feel like now that old like the old style of rap, how it was, you got the 90s, of course, you had Biggie, Tupac,
Mm,
not Nas, all those rappers back then. I'm sure I'm missing some names. There's probably underground guys as well, but now, like you said, rap is like pop. Like you don't really hear that hardcore rap like you used to. Like it's now
hmm.
it's they've pop and rap have they're combined. I feel like they've intertwined with one another. I don't know. I feel like most people now don't want to listen to. You're gonna have your diehard fans, but I feel like now that style of rap doesn't really excite people. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like I feel like more people would rather listen to Drake than they would Kendrick. That I know they both have huge fan bases. That's
Hmm.
just how I feel about it. Like Kendrick
Yeah.
Lamar's halftime show did not excite me. It really didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the biggest talking points right now is
Hmm.
because Drake is so crossover,
Hmm.
people are critical of it because they question, does he belong to the culture? Is he from the culture? Is he of the culture? And I think that's been the biggest critique that many people have had of him, where you look at a Kendrick Lamar where they say, we know where this guy came from start to finish. He's
Right.
from this, he's of this, he's cut from this cloth. And even though Kendrick Lamar does have, crossover appeal as well, like he has Humble, he has songs with Taylor Swift, he has songs with Maroon 5. Drake, I
Hmm.
think, is a lot more palatable to mainstream America. So I think that's the stark contrast between the two of them is Drake touches on a lot of different places in the world that Kendrick doesn't. And
Yeah.
Drake's sound is a lot more mainstream than Kendrick's is, than really any rapper is, right? Because
Right.
there have been rappers who have been pop before. Like you look at Run DMC, LL Cool J, they were
Yeah.
rap stars and pop stars, right? When you talk about My Adidas and you talk about LL who crossed over into acting and who's been
Hmm.
on TV for like 25 years. But Drake is just the first to do it to this level.
Ice Cube,
Yeah, Ice Cube as
Snoop
well,
Dogg,
right? Ice
Snoop
T,
Dogg.
Snoop Dogg is the most popular rapper of all time, right? But Drake has just done it to a level where he's been so good at it that people are now questioning
Mhm.
who he is for a lot of different reasons, right or wrong, depending on what you believe. But people are questioning who he is because he's able to assimilate and able to walk through different doors that many rappers haven't been able to do before.
No, exactly agree with that. And that's the thing we're figuring out. Like one song with Drake is feels like rap, and then the next one, like this one here, what did I miss? Is like it's I feel like it's a whole group of music. It's like rap, it's like pop, it's like slow,
Hmm.
it switches up. And of course, Drake loves calling people out. He just shouted out the Florida Gators. Her ass is all natty like Florida Gator, which I didn't think Drake would be shouting out the Florida Gators ever. But Drake's a big sports guy, even though he loses a lot
Yes.
of money sports betting. But I
Yeah.
didn't expect that. So that was cool to see. But yeah, just when you think like he's a marketing genius. He's just like Taylor Swift. He's just like who else some other names that are really good with marketing. Beyonce's really good with marketing. Justin Bieber, like
Yeah.
those huge names, they know exactly what they're doing. And of course Drake's always going to be relevant, but he figures, "Oh, I'll drop this song right now." No one's really talking about Kendrick Lamar like they were a few months ago. Now it's my turn. It's the summer. He's dropped summer albums before. Drake knows exactly what he's doing. He's a
Yeah.
genius. He really is.
Yeah, he's smart and he's good at what he does. Like I said, I think he really went to the drawing board with this one. So Kendrick Lamar right now is on tour.
Mhm.
So Kendrick's on his European leg of the tour. And if you remember how this whole thing started, the Like That verse drops when Drake is on tour with J. Cole.
Mhm.
So Drake wasn't really 100% focused walking into this conflict. And right now, Kendrick's focus is finishing out his tour strong. He's going all over the world.
Mhm.
You know, it's one of the biggest tours of all time. It's definitely the biggest stadium tour of any rapper. So right now, Kendrick's mind has to be focused. He can't worry about what Drake is saying. So strategically for Drake, this is the right move, right? Now is the time to go on the offensive in the music worlds, right? It doesn't need to be a battle, but you need to
Right.
exert your dominance over the industry. So this is the way that he's going to do it.
And that's a great point as well. And the thing, what I think about it too, is like there's not a lot of big sports headlines going on right now. Of course, NBA Summer League, WNBA, whatever. Like football's not on right now. Basketball just finished. Hockey just finished. So Drake figures, all right, like, you know, people are bored on a Friday night or whatever. Like I'm gonna make a song, or I'm gonna drop a song where that's the summer song. That's the summer hit. You know, of course, you have Sabrina Carpenter. She just dropped a song not too long ago. Like I mean, but even like you just said, Kendrick Lamar's tour, I didn't even know Kendrick was on tour. I really didn't. And I keep up with music to a certain extent as much as I can. But if it was that popular, people would be talking about it. I mean, obviously right now, Love Island is dominating the headlines on every single platform.
Yeah.
I mean, you have NFL and NHL, NBA teams like posting pictures. WNBA teams are saying hot new bombshell. Like, so you're getting all that. But if you didn't tell me that Kendrick Lamar was on tour, I wouldn't have known. I know that Stephon Diggs and Cardi B look like they're on the way out because I read the headline. But Kendrick's not like, I love Kendrick Lamar. I've said this countless times to people. He's very popular, yes, but he's not as mainstream, I feel like, as Drake or Taylor Swift or that level. I don't know. That's just how I feel. And people are going to call me crazy. Listen, his collab with SZA was great. I fucking love Kendrick's music. I think it's great. But I don't think he's on the level of a, like, let's compare, for example, like Ronaldo's like Drake. I feel like Messi's not like Kendrick because Messi's in a whole other category. But like maybe like a player that's really, really good in their respective sport, but they're not as marketable or they're not as on a high level like Drake is, for like how Drake is like with Ronaldo. That's just how I feel. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're making a good analogy there, right? So Drake, I would really, even though they're not getting along right now, I would have likened to a LeBron James, right? The biggest in his industry. And Kendrick Lamar,
Kevin Durant is like Kendrick Lamar. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there we go. That's how I feel.
Kendrick, I would say Kevin Durant, or I would even say a Kawhi Leonard, right? Where when he's out there, he's dominant and you see it. But the biggest critique about Kendrick Lamar a lot of the time is he doesn't put out enough music. We don't hear from him on social media unless it's time to roll out music. So that's Kawhi to me. When Kawhi's out there, you know this is one of the best guys in the world, right?
Maybe a Jokic?
That too, right? Champion, MVP, not a regular season MVP, but a finals MVP, right? That matters. And he did it twice. While Drake is always there, which is like a LeBron, always there, right? Name is always mentioned. In terms of the numbers, Drake is LeBron, right? The most number ones from a rap artist ever. He's about to challenge Michael Jackson for the most number one hits ever. In terms of the sales, Drake is the biggest, right? But people still critique LeBron and people will still critique Drake. So no one's beyond critique.
No, nobody's beyond critique. But I mean, in my opinion, I think, like you said, the biggest music or pop star. But right now, I think the biggest music star in the world is Taylor Swift. I don't think you can even argue that. I don't even know how you would argue that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think she does. It's just Drake's Drake, but Taylor's a whole different level. I mean, she just bought back her masters, for crying out loud. I mean, when you sit there and you go, no, I don't think anybody touches her. And how much money she's worth too. Drake's, of course, just up there with her as well. But like I said, imagine if we could get that collab. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. The fan base with Taylor Swift, the Swifties they're not playing around.
No, that's a fan base that you do not want to. I mean, listen, they have receipts from when she feel like she just came out of the womb. That's how much I mean, everything gets taken out of context with that. I mean, how much she's shown on TV or how much she's shown during the sports games, where she walks, where she goes, how many locations she's visited. Like Drake has his level of fame, of course, but Beyonce does. Bieber, not like her. I mean, she has an army like waiting behind her, like the cavalry of just friendship bracelets with T-shirts and merch. And I mean, it's insane. But did you see Cardi B and Stephon Diggs? Supposedly they're on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, Cardi's in album mode.
They were just in Paris. They were just in Paris, though. Why that? Like, and this is another thing too. You just deleted all your Instagram pictures with him. So like, if we're in like the coded language today of this world, of the Gen Z social media world, they're done. Like, if you delete pictures of somebody on Instagram, like, that's it. Like, okay, you could archive them, but that would be awkward to bring the pictures back. But also too, they just went to Paris, so that was kind of weird. Yeah, and they looked like they were having a good time, but I don't know.
Listen, Cardi's a New Yorker. She's from the Bronx. Things will go up, things will go down. I'm sure the photos and Stefan will be back. It's probably a little flare up at the moment, but they'll be back.
So you don't think they're done?
No, she's in album mode, right? So
but why are you deleting the pictures? Why are you archiving your man?
This is how it goes. This is how it goes. And Stefan Diggs, he's about to get ready for the season, so I'm sure they're both working hard. Maybe a little back and forth.
So you
they'll
don't
be
think
okay.
No. So you think they're fine?
I think they'll be okay. I can't buy into the Instagram too much. I think they'll be back. They'll be back.
Hey, this is exactly where the headline gets me, but I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like, I don't know. But when you immediately think that they're not together anymore because they deleted.
Like you said, for this generation, that's what that means. Like, once those photos go down, it means something's wrong. So I think something could be going on behind the scenes.
So let's move on to some NBA news. A lot has been going around lately in the NBA with the trades, Deandre Ayton to the Lakers, the Hawks and the Celtics with that whole shakeup there, the 7-team trade, which I don't even know how that made any bit of sense, and it was so late that happened. But I guess the biggest headline, from yesterday, was Norman Powell, of course, going to the Miami Heat. That we saw that as well, with that whole situation there. But for me, I really just want to talk briefly about the Lakers with DeAndre Ayton. So many people were so upset when the Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton. Do people realize that DeAndre Ayton was a former high draft pick, and not only that, as
it's the number one draft pick.
Number one. I wanted to catch myself there. Number one pick in the same draft as with Luka Doncic. Did people realize the Lakers didn't have a center? I don't think people realize that. Okay, you got him from Portland. He had a bad attitude there, this and that. I think he's going to play just fine. I think he's going to slide in just right. And I think one thing that I saw, JJ Redick is going to be able to unlock DeAndre Ayton next to LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And I think it's a great signing, obviously, from what they had. And you didn't have to give up any draft assets. You didn't have to trade for anybody. You get him for, I think it was 2 years, 16 mil. Okay, you're kind of taking a flyer on him. You're not giving up anything. You didn't have to give up any trades. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I think the only concern I have with him, of course, is sometimes he can be shaky on defense, but he's going to be playing much better. He's in a winning culture. There wasn't really any other options out there. And it goes to show that he chose the Lakers over the Pacers, as well as the, who was the other team? It was the Pacers and what was the other team?
It was a lot of teams out there who, I think the Bucks were interested at some point. The Warriors, I'm sure.
It was the Pacers and the Bucks. Those were the two teams, and he chose the Lakers, and it's good for him that he chose them because he's in a much better situation there. Of course, Indiana with Tyrese Halliburton, he's going to be out this whole year, which sucks. But the Lakers got their center, and I'm happy to see it. I think it makes total sense for them, and I think most people thought he was going there.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about DeAndre Ayton, this guy's been to the NBA Finals, right? He went to the finals, with Chris Paul and with Devin Booker. So he's not a guy who you say can't do it. I think the biggest question with him is, will he do it? What fight does he have inside of him to stay mentally focused and ready to compete every night? And I think that's where him and Chris Paul didn't get along. He was in Portland playing for Chauncey Billups, who's a coach with high expectations, who's trying to turn that team around. So maybe it just wasn't the right fit. Now, with the Lakers, like you said, they needed a center. So any person that they get, any acquisition, is an upgrade from Jackson Hayes playing starter minutes. So the Lakers are the big winners here. And of course, he got bought out, so it's not costing them a lot of money. So the Lakers,
it's really not.
Listen, the rich get richer. The Lakers will always attract a free agent or a guy who's looking to move teams all the time.
Well, and that's the problem with Lakers fans too, is they always expect, just like the Yankees, just like the Leafs, just like the Cowboys. Every year it's like, it's never good enough. It's like you buy your girlfriend a really nice car, you get her dream car, and the next year she goes, no, I don't like that. The new one came out. It's like, just be happy with what you got. Like, you have freaking LeBron James and Luka Doncic, for crying out loud. And I get it. It's a city of angels. It attracts stars. Hollywood. You're competing with the Dodgers. You're competing with the Clippers. You're competing with the Rams. the Chargers now, as well as the other stars in Hollywood, Ohtani, all celebrities there. So I get it. It's a city that attracts, just like New York, you know. But it's just like that's a good pickup for the Lakers, and people are clowning them, of course. But it's like, what else did you want them to go get? Did you want to just let them go to the Pacers or the Bucks? No, like they had to sign him. West, it made the most sense. So, and he's a West Coast guy. He went to Arizona. Listen, if DeAndre Ayton blows this, Jay, I don't know. From there, I don't know. Like if he shits the bed or he doesn't perform the way he's supposed to, but anything is better than what they had. So for me, it's an upgrade because they were desperately missing a center in the playoffs. It was very obvious. It showed. They were running that very small ball type lineup. They were running Rui at the 5 at times. Then they would try to bring in Jackson Hayes. They didn't play Jackson Hayes against the Timberwolves in that last game. Gobert had they had 20 and 20 that game. He made Gobert. They made Gobert look like Wilt Chamberlain, for crying out loud. Gobert's not that good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can't compete in the Western Conference or in the NBA right now without a big, right? That small ball era is over. So right now you need one or two bigs. A lot of teams are running two big men. You look at what the Thunder just did. Look at what the San Antonio Spurs are going to do. Right? Look at what the Bucks are. Look at what the Bucks just did. They have a center next to Giannis. That's 2 7-footers.
Miles Turner.
Yeah, so you need two bigs. It's the return of the two big lineup. And that's the only way to compete. So, like I said, the Lakers got richer, and DeAndre Ayton has to stay focused. But if there's a player who you want to help someone maintain mentally and also physically, the best guy to have them next to is LeBron. He's the best, best
and
ever
Luka
do it.
for that matter, and Luka for that matter. The fact that he can be that facilitator and he can truly take over the Lakers as the best player on the Lakers. He can be the number one viable option. LeBron can finally, I don't know if you want to say he'll take a backseat, but he can kind of slide over a little bit, and the pressure doesn't have to fully be on LeBron because now this is Luka's first year officially with the Lakers starting. He came in late last year with the trade, but now you got an offseason under your belt. You signed DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if they're done making any moves. We haven't decided. They haven't decided that yet, but now it's truly Luka's team. And from there on out, we'll see how it goes with LeBron. But we'll come back to the Lakers briefly. But I want to talk about the Knicks because you're on the East Coast. You're in New York. They just hired Mike Brown. What do you think about this signing? You know, of course, they got rid of Thibodeau. Some people thought it was kind of crazy because it was very you made the Eastern Conference Finals and it's first time and, God knows how long and that whole situation there with, playing the starters so many minutes. So what do you think about this hiring of Mike Brown?
I know Tibbs was going to be out the door if they didn't make the finals. That was going to happen. The writings was on the wall about not using the bench, not making adjustments in that last series against the Pacers. That was going to happen. The hire of Mike Brown, I'm happy Mike Brown has another, head coaching job. He was with the Warriors as an assistant. He then went to the Kings where he turned things around. So I think the change of pace in New York will be a good thing. But this city has high expectations. Mike Brown was a champion with the Warriors. So he comes with that pedigree. He's won before, not as the lead coach, but as the assistant. But he was a big part getting that Warriors defense together and even that offense together. So I think he can do the same here in New York. But again, right now, this is win or go home mode. This is not the Knicks of 2007 or 2008. These are the New York Knicks of the 90s, right? Where you're expected to win and compete at a high level. So Mike Brown has to come in and pick up where Tibbs left off, because if you don't at least make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals, you could have kept Tibbs for all of that. So I like the hire, but right now you got a point to prove. You have a good roster. Maybe you're one or two pieces away. I don't think they're really a championship team. I think they need to acquire some more pieces, but we'll see what he does.
I agree with you there. I think my biggest thing with the Mike Brown signing is how is he going to be able to manage these players' egos, putting these guys on the court, a whole new system, a different team. The East Coast with the Knicks is a different breed between the Warriors and the Kings. Those games are super late. You're not catching all of them. They're not as televised. I mean, the Warriors, of course, were always televised with Curry, but the Garden is a different place. That's why players play to a whole different level and high expectation when they go play there. You've seen LeBron there in the Garden. You've seen Curry come there, players Durant. So Mike Brown, this is a different animal. It's either, like you said, sink or swim. It's either he's going to get eaten alive or he's gonna flourish. And that's the biggest thing with him, because he's been around championship teams. He's been around LeBron, of course, the Kings. He got that team to the did they beat the Warriors in that
They
first
beat the
round?
Warriors in the play-in, but
That's
then
right.
they lost in the
Thus,
first round in 7 games. Went to game 7.
That's right. Because that was the Draymond Green Sabonis where he kind of
Yeah.
when he kicked him in the groin. I remember that. Yeah. So Mike Brown, I think he's a good coach. Is he a better coach than Tom Thibodeau? They're two different style of coaches, but I just really want to see how he's going to manage these players with their minutes, because that was the biggest concern that everyone had last year, watching them with Josh Hart, with Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. And if this team doesn't work out this year, I think then they're going to be trading people after the next season, because they were already rumored to trade Towns. They didn't. They were linked to potentially get Kevin Durant, but that didn't work out. And also, too, another thing, it's going to be interesting how he manages the Rick Brunson situation, because I just saw it came out that Rick Brunson is going to be taking a back seat, and he won't have as much as a big a role as he had in the past, with Mike Brown bringing in his own staff, and he's a respected coach, so he deserves to. Rick Brunson can take a back seat. He hasn't done anything in the NBA. He hasn't won anything as a coach, so he can 100% take a back seat. So that's how I feel about it.
It's going to be a lot to manage, right? Whenever you're in New York, like I said, the expectations are high. But like you said, he's coached Stephen Curry. He's coached LeBron James. The names don't get any bigger than that.
No.
There's no name walking in the garden bigger than LeBron or Steph Curry. So if he's been around that kind of media circus, I think he'll be able to handle it.
Well, I wanted to briefly bring this back up about the Lakers real quick, about the LeBron James thing. LeBron James is the TMZ. He's the People Magazine. He's the US Weekly. He's the Daily Mail of all of sports. He's not going anywhere. LeBron James is not getting traded. That drives me crazy, Jay, when I hear the headlines of that. LeBron wants to be in the media. That's why he's wearing that welcome home hat. That's why he's golfing in Cleveland right now. And you can say he's just doing his own thing. Listen, I'm a huge LeBron fan, but LeBron knows exactly what he's doing. He's part of the, it's like Spider-Man with the Daily Bugle. Like LeBron's the front headline of it. LeBron is, it's always how it has been. He has to keep his name in the media. When there's trades going on, it's got to be about LeBron and the Lakers. It's got to be about LeBron. He's not going anywhere. I still don't believe that this is his last year. I know he picked up the $52.3 million player option. He's not going anywhere. I strongly believe LeBron is waiting for the other son, Bryce, to come into the NBA. He's not leaving. LeBron can still play in the NBA for 3 to 5 more years if he wants. I know we saw Savannah saying that she wants him to retire. Listen, I wouldn't even be surprised if LeBron wanted her to say that. I really wouldn't, because he's a marketing genius. He's just like Drake. He's just like the rest of them. They know what they're doing. LeBron's not going anywhere. He's not leaving the Lakers. And no team is trading for LeBron. Cleveland's not doing it. Listen, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's calculated. Everything he does in the media, he knows they're going to pick up and analyze anything that's on his shirt, his hat. Even if they could zoom in on his text message, they'll zoom in and see what it says on the phone. But like LeBron is a mastermind, Rich Paul, the best agent in sports right now, running a clutch agency. And Rich is a smart guy, and I think Rich will get LeBron where he needs to be. So maybe it's the Lakers for one more year, and then he'll come to Cleveland. If the contract is up, maybe he comes to Cleveland and he could sign for the minimum. I think Bronny got a guaranteed deal. I don't remember if it was
signed for the minimum. No way.
I could see it happening to return to Cleveland just for the farewell tour. Just for the farewell tour where he walks off. He came in as a Cav. He should go out as a Cav. He shouldn't go out as a Laker. He won that team that ring in 2016. One of the greatest moments in sports. And I think that's the perfect storybook ending. You already got, Bronny in the league. He's there with you. You're mentoring him as an NBA player, not just as a dad, and you're doing a great job at both. But now you got to end your story the right way, man. Go to Cleveland and end it right there where you started.
Listen, Jay, this is one thing that I'll say about LeBron. LeBron says, I'm all about winning championships. I want to be on a roster that can compete for a championship. LeBron, if you really wanted to win a championship, you wouldn't be opting in to your $52 million player option. You could have easily taken a pay cut. So I don't care. LeBron, you're already a billionaire. It just drives me crazy when he says that, because listen, I get it. He's at the end of his career. He deserves everything. He's still playing at a very high level. But if you wanted to win a championship, imagine if he took a pay cut, like Tom Brady took a pay cut. Tim Duncan took a pay cut. Like all these other guys have taken pay cuts. You're at the end of the road. You don't have anything else left to prove. If you wanted to cut that salary in half, or you wanted to do maybe like, I don't know, like in baseball, of course, the contract gets offloaded how they do, or just in other sports, they've done it like that. But if you wanted to take a pay cut, he very well could. The amount of money he's making, you can't tell me he can take a $10 million pay cut or cut that in half, and you can attract 2 other free agents. Come on.
LeBron,
he's never going to do it.
Listen, we have a little saying. I'm not taking any shorts. LeBron's not taking any shorts. Not a dollar short, not a penny less. And you know why?
Which is crazy.
You see, people think I don't like LeBron. I think LeBron James is the best to ever do it off the court. It's between him, Magic, and Michael. Those are the 3 best off the court athletes ever. Now, I think he's never going to take any less money because I think he feels he's worth more than the contract he signs.
Of course.
I think he sees that value and he says, why should I take a pay cut?
He's 40 years old, though.
The Lakers have new ownership in place. I get what you're saying.
Listen, Tom Brady did it for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If Tom Brady would have taken if he would have taken more money than he did for the Bucs, they probably wouldn't have won the Super Bowl.
If I made $400 million, I could take $10 million less. But you know what? I've never had $400 million, so I can't say that.
But you're going to make that, right? But with investments and finances, like, you're going to make that money back in other things as well.
Listen,
like, you're not. Like,
yes,
come on.
You are right, but like I said, we talking about LeBron. We talking about Braun here, man. He's not taking any shorts, not a dollar short. And you know what? I'm not mad at him.
Kevin Durant took less money with the Warriors, didn't he?
No, I think the Warriors were able to get KD because Steph was on that team-friendly contract. I think Brooklyn, he might have taken a pay cut. I think the Brooklyn, when he went with Harden and Kyrie, I think the 3 of those guys took a little bit less money to make that work. Guys do it in the NBA all the time. Brunson took a lot less money.
Yeah,
but I think,
listen, it's the NBA. I get it. But it's not like LeBron is 35. He's 40.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Like you said, that's it. So I feel like that's why he's going to get every dime now. This is the last big deal contract he's going to get. And the next contract he gets will be with an ownership group. So he's going to need all that money. He's going to need all that money.
Yeah, because he wants to buy a part of a team. Listen, I get it. Get your bag. But dude, the fact that you're complaining about roster building and building for a championship team, and the Lakers should be surrounding talent for you, it's not your show anymore. It's Luka Doncic's show. The Los Angeles Lakers is Luka Doncic's team. I know he hasn't won anything there yet. However, for building for the future, and that's what they should do. They shouldn't put LeBron in any sort of conversations of who we should get or what we should do. It should be about building with Luka Doncic. That has nothing to do with LeBron from here on out. That's how they should go about it. They're the Los Angeles Lakers.
I think that's the approach the organization is taking. I think all the timelines will begin to match up with Luka, which makes business sense. Now, the Lakers just sold. Well, this guy was already a part of the ownership group, but he just acquired, the majority stake now. And he's a winner, right? He has the Dodgers.
Yep.
Look at what the Dodgers have done. They will spend any amount of money to win, which is the right attitude to have as the owner. He has Magic Johnson with him, who's a close friend of his. And with Magic advising him and making some moves, I'm sure, in terms of the general manager position, the Lakers will be moving forward and the Lakers will always be relevant. There is no way that you're going to see this team lose 3 or 4 years in a row. So once LeBron is gone and he retires, they will get whatever free agent they're looking for, and they will not spare any expense.
Well, and that's the thing, like with Luka Doncic. But I think the biggest thing too is the second apron now. So that's going to be a big thing upcoming in the upcoming years. We just saw it with the Celtics; they had to dismantle their entire team basically because of the second apron. Like, the NBA is saying, no, there's not going to be super teams. No, you can wash away the whole luxury tax idea because that's gone out the window. So it's going to be hard for teams to repeat. It's going to be hard for teams to build a dynasty. I think the days of teams winning 3-peats or back-to-back, maybe the Thunder after this year, but it's going to be very hard. You just saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get $71 million a year, $285 million over 4, which is crazy. So it's going to be hard. I think the days of that are over. I really do.
Yes, but you know what comes with this as well? It's easier to rebuild now because teams can't keep players. So if you have one bad season, you get a high draft pick, you can go out and acquire a guy. And that'll put you right back in contention. So I think this is why you see so many teams going for it this year and trying to sign whoever they can, because the league is wide open right now. So you're going to go get a guy, and if it doesn't work out, you'll rebound in a year or two. So I think it's worth taking a shot.
I think the Nuggets made a great move by trading Michael Porter Jr. and picking up Cam Johnson. Of course, Porter Jr. is 2 years younger than him, but they just Porter Jr. showed flashes. You know, he had, I think the year before last year, he was averaging 20 a game. If it was last year, but like he showed flashes. Of course, he was hurt in the playoffs, but Cam Johnson is a sniper. He's a sharpshooter, and I think he fits in great with the Nuggets. They picked up some more bench depth as well, and the Nuggets are going to be right back in it. They're going to be right there as well, and I think it was good to move off him with Porter with that contract. That was a high contract as well, so I like it. I really do. I like this. I like the trade.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. had health issues since college. I know that shoulder really hampered him, you know, in the Western Conference. What was that, semifinals?
That was the the first round was against the Clippers. Second was against the
it was Nuggets.
T-Wolves and then Thunder.
Yes. So he was hurt there, so it's been a little struggle for him to stay healthy. So I think it was smart to move off him. Cam Johnson is like 6'8", 6'9", right? Sneaky bounce too, so he can shoot. He shoots the rock well, and that's exactly what Michael Porter Jr. does. And Michael Porter Jr. doesn't see a bad shot. I think Cam Johnson is a little bit of a higher IQ player who can come up off the ball a lot easier than Michael Porter Jr. did. So great fit. Jokic passing the ball to him is a scary sight. And then they get back Bruce Brown,
I saw that.
People in Denver love. So, you know,
good culture guy as well. That's what it was. Porter Jr. averaged 18.2 points per game on 7 rebounds last year. I think he'll be probably 25 a game guy for the Nets next year.
Ultimate green light. I don't know who's going to pass the ball on that team because you got him over there. Oh man, what's my guy's name who shoots it all
Cam
day?
Thomas hasn't re-signed yet. They haven't re-signed him.
Well, he needs to go to a team and just be a spark. I would love to see him Lakers? With the Warriors. No, not enough basketball in LA for him. He should go to the Warriors if they could get him and come off the bench because the Warriors need a scorer. They need a shot creator.
Milwaukee lost Connaughton.
Milwaukee would be good too. There's the Knicks too. There's a number of teams who need a guy who can just go out and get a bucket. That will always be a job.
Well, the Knicks picked up Clarkson. Miami wouldn't be a bad.
Yeah, they got Norman Powell who's going to get shots up too. So
Norman Powell.
Cam Johnson will get a contract. Yeah, Cam Johnson will get a contract.
Or Cam Thomas. Yeah, Cam Thomas.
Sorry.
He will. Yeah, listen, I'm all for it. I don't think it's really much of a drop off between Johnson and Porter. They're pretty similar players. Maybe Porter's a little bit better of a defender because he's a little bit long. He's a little more athletic, maybe, and he's lengthier. He's longer, but Porter Jr. has that playoff experience, but I also think with Porter Jr. on the Nets now, I think he's a trade candidate for sure. He's definitely a flip at the deadline type guy. You can, to see how he plays the first half of the season, and I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up on another contender when come February time. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I could easily see that happening. The Nets don't really have a direction right now. So like I said, when teams are talking about rebuilding, this is a team that should be there. The next draft class is loaded, so I don't see the Nets really trying to compete for anything this year.
Which was very weird that they really kind of fumbled on those draft picks that they acquired, where they had 5 draft picks in total in this past draft we just had. And they really didn't do much. I didn't see anything that they really did. So maybe they're planning for next year more than anything.
I agree there.
Kevin Durant has been officially traded to the Rockets. That whole situation there with this historic 7-team deal. I mean, if Kevin Durant can stay healthy, I was hesitant about this, but then you just picked up Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a good veteran off the bench. Maybe he was a little overpaid. The Lakers weren't going to be able to keep him. And then you just get back Clint Capella, who's been there before, culture guy. You have the team. Obviously, you traded Brooks and Jalen Green, but they look scary. They really do. After they got Capella and Smith, because before that I was like, it's just Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. Obviously, they were the 2 seed last year, even without Kevin Durant. But now, man, but also too, they're losing a scorer in Cam Whitmore as well off the bench. So I think that as well. But hopefully Jabari Smith takes the next step because I haven't seen it quite yet.
Listen, you won't hear me say a bad word about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can be put in any offense in the NBA and make it more efficient and make it more dangerous. You put him there he can score in isolation. He can score when double teamed. He's going to get it done. And that's why the Rockets lost to the Warriors, because they couldn't score. There were stretches right in the game where they wouldn't score for 4 to 5 minutes. That's not happening with Kevin Durant. It's not going to happen. So putting him out there, he'll be good, right? You got him with Fred VanVleet, who's a champion with Toronto. You got him with a head coach who's been to the NBA Finals, and Kevin Durant just wants to play basketball. He'll be focused, right? Drake is in Houston. His guy's there. His man's there. He'll be all right. So that team is scary good. That team is scary good.
I think that the biggest thing, though, they're losing is that defensive tenacity, like a Dylan Brooks type of guy. So that's a big thing, I think, for them because he's a big culture guy, of course, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this Rockets team does because they'll go as far as Kevin Durant can take them. I mean, really, of course, the pressure's on Durant, but is this Durant's last team? Because at this point, he's what, 36, 37?
Yeah.
Is he 36? Yeah, so this has got to be it for Durant. This has got to be his last team, you would think, right?
Yeah, I could listen. I hope it works out for him, but I'm not going to put it past him to play till he's 40-something years old. All Kevin Durant wants to do is play basketball.
He play basketball, I know, but he did say he doesn't want to play until he's 40s. Of course, his mind could change with all the injuries and all the off-the-court stuff. However, though, if the Rockets win the finals this year, could Kevin Durant hang it up? I could very well see that. I could see him going off into the sunset type player. I very well could.
You know the thing about KD? His game is not
satisfied.
built on that, and his game isn't built off athleticism. He's 7 foot tall. Right. He could literally stand and shoot.
I know
for the next 10 years. He could do the Dirk fadeaway for the next 10 years. He doesn't have to guard the other team's best player. He doesn't need to stand in a post. He can stand in a corner and just be a dead-eye shooter.
But Jay, the biggest thing though too is everyone was so excited when Kevin Durant went to the Suns, and then now he's on the Rockets. Like
the Suns, the Suns. But it was a bad roster construction, and getting Bradley Beal was one of the worst moves in NBA history. So I'm not going to hold that against him. I think they didn't have the right coach in place. The leadership over there, the front office, questionable. Phoenix had one good year.
So is this Kevin Durant's team on the Rockets? Is he's the number one guy on this team?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe they tried to make it Jalen Green's team last year, and it just did not work out. So right now you got Fred VanVleet, you got Amen Thompson,
Jabari Smith,
young, Şengün, young. Right, the only vet right there in the starting lineup is VanVleet, and I think Fred VanVleet is a leader.
Yep.
And he'll be the vocal leader, but Kevin Durant will be the on the court guy, right? You don't need him to scream. You don't need him to say much. He will lead by example. So I think it's his team. At the end of the game, they're looking at Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I'm with you. Away from the NBA, the NFL with the Dolphins and the Steelers trade, that was a really interesting trade. You traded Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins, and everyone was like, Minkah Fitzpatrick has kind of been rough the past 2 years, and you moved off of Jalen Ramsey. You could say the Steelers got better, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, the Steelers are going for it. They're making a home run. It's a big signing by them. The Dolphins, they get back Minkah. I don't know. I don't know really what to make of it. I really don't. The Steelers, they've just always, I always question mark them because they're dealing with the TJ Watt stuff right now. So does Jalen Ramsey make your team better?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, but does that make you a Super Bowl contender? I don't know. The AFC's stacked.
Yes.
You have the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills.
Yeah.
The Chargers.
Listen, the AFC is a tougher conference by far, but I will never doubt Mike Tomlin. I will never doubt him. So I think if he goes out and he says, pull a trigger and go get this guy, he believes Jalen Ramsey can still contribute at a high level. And then, when you play that position, you got to have the swag that comes with it. And when it comes to tough-nosed football, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Yeah. That's the embodiment of that franchise. So I think he'll fit in well there. People have always talked about his attitude, but I think Mike Tomlin is a man amongst men, and he'll make sure that Ramsey's ready to go.
I think the highlight of this trade, though, was the Steelers acquiring Jonnu Smith, because Rodgers at this stage of his career, how old he is, he has that security, that safety blanket with a guy like Jonnu Smith. He has that, he doesn't have to go crazy of, deep bombing at DK Metcalf. He has Jonnu Smith, who's a proven guy in this NFL. He revitalized his career in Miami. Last year, he had a rough time in New England. Of course, then they traded into the Falcons. He had his good years were with Tennessee, and then he, kind of rejuiced and recharged in Miami. So I think that's a really big part of this trade is the Dolphins trading Jonnu Smith to the Steelers and Rodgers having that security, that safety blanket of a guy like him, because outside of DK Metcalf, they really don't have any true receivers like that. I know they They drafted Roman Wilson from Michigan. They lost George Pickens, of course, to the Cowboys. Freiermuth is still there. So that two tight end set there is going to be nice for the Steelers. It's just going to be about Rodgers, how well he'll do in Pittsburgh. He's old, of course. He had a good year last year, but you never know. You just never know. But this is Rodgers last year for sure. So
Yeah,
all in.
like exactly like you said, all in. You got to go out one more time with a bang. And who's
Yep.
the backup in Pittsburgh is who?
You got Mason Rudolph and you got Will Howard.
Well, so not too. Mason Rudolph could play a little bit. So Rodgers, it's on you. You shouldn't. There's no threat to your starting job.
No.
I hope you get it right. I'm from New York, so I actually grew up a Jets fan. So it was brutal for me to watch him go down with the injury, and then that performance last year was tough to watch. So best of luck in Pittsburgh, man.
Well, the full trade breakdown is Dolphins traded Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 7th to the Steelers in return for Fitzpatrick and a 5th. Wow. Okay, so it was really just kind of the two player swaps there, and of course,
almost
the
straight
Dolphins,
up. Yeah,
they signed Darren Waller, who came out of retirement. That's another interesting there. That's a question mark within itself. So, if I were to say who won the trade, I guess you would say the Steelers because they're all in at this point. But listen, Minkah Fitzpatrick going back to Miami, he can prove himself again. He's on a very big contract as well. He had those 2 rough years in Pittsburgh these past 2 years. They were down years for him. So he can kind of be the guy again because they lost Javon Holland in free agency to the Giants. So he comes back in, familiar faces. I've always loved Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's an SEC Alabama guy. I'm a big SEC guy. But I'm excited to see how well he will do in Miami. But yeah, you could say the Steelers won this trade. But have fun with Jalen Ramsey because he's a diva. So
it's a lot to deal with.
Let's move on to the WNBA. Well, the highlight, of course, is Caitlin Clark coming back tomorrow, after missing her last 5 games due to a groin strain. But also, which came out yesterday, is Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark, the showdown, which we desperately were waiting for 2 weeks ago. We're going to get it August 1st, barring any injuries between the two. They moved the game from the original arena to the Mavericks Arena, American Airlines Center, that holds 20,000 people. So if your people don't think the WNBA is growing, then you're smoking crack in Harlem or somewhere in New York City or in a big city, because it's growing exponentially at this point. The fact that they're moving games to sports NBA type arenas is insane. I mean, you have the Fever playing at the Fieldhouse now where the Pacers play. So Caitlin Clark is growing it. Paige Bueckers, of course, as well. But it's special to see. I think it's awesome. I really do. I think it's great to see that the WNBA is getting the flowers that it deserves. I know people say it's boring and it's not fun to watch. Listen, if you're a basketball junkie, you'll watch any sort of basketball. The fact that Caitlin Clark, how enjoyable and how fun to watch she is, I mean, her scroll list goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, the ticket price, shout out to TickPick, right? He had actually left a comment on my last video, and they said,
hey, let's go.
Yeah, the average sale price for that game was $379, which is the highest ever for a WNBA game. And Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, that's the true rivalry there. They've been rivals since, I think, middle school.
Yep.
So, due to some injuries, they obviously didn't come into the same draft class. But right now, they're 2 of the best guards in the league. I mean, Paige is no joke when it comes to passing and scoring, and she's very efficient. She's a force to be reckoned with. So I think these are 2 steam trains heading right towards each other, and it's all going to collide in this game. And I think the world will be tuned in for this one.
I think we're getting, with Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers right now, I think we're getting like a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes feel. We're getting a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like a rivalry that's starting to arise. The Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark is just drama. That's just the media, and that's just a housewife show or a Bravo or reality TV show. They're just trying to make that all be a rivalry. That's not a rivalry. Angel Reese doesn't compare to Caitlin Clark. Paige Bueckers, on the other hand, she does. She is just right there with her. I don't want to say she's a better player. I think Paige is a better scorer, but I don't think she's a better overall player. This is what I had to reiterate to people to explain this. Caitlin is a better overall player. I think she's a better passer. I think she is a better assister, better at assisting. I think she's a better overall player. I think she elevates her teammates. I don't think Bueckers is on that level yet. She's only a rookie. And of course, Caitlin was a rookie last year, but it's a very special rivalry between the two players. They haven't really bantered back and forth with one another. They both respect each other at a very high level. But it's great to see how well Paige Bueckers has been playing, because she's a bucket within herself. She's got that Kyrie Irving feel to her. She's got a bag like there ever was one.
Yeah, I think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark don't even play the same position. So I think,
No.
like you said, that is out of media and other kind of, racial undertone narratives that people are fueling on social media and other places, right? Yeah, we don't even want to get into that. But Angel Reese, I
basketball
think,
players. That's it.
yes, two basketball players, right?
Doesn't
And
matter
Angel
if they're
Reese,
purple, pink, orange, blue, whatever.
yeah.
They're basketball players.
And Angel Reese has had a hell of a week, right? She's scored over 20 in a bunch of games, double. So she's coming in the best 5-game stretch of her professional career. So shout out to her. But Paige and Caitlin Clark, I think, is a matchup of two guards, right? Yep. Both who can pass, both who can shoot, both who can space the floor. So I'm excited to watch it. I'll definitely be tuned into that one.
Kyrie Curry.
I could see that.
Two great guards that have that feel of the game. That they're two different players though within their respective position. Caitlin, I think Caitlin is more of a true point guard than Paige. Paige is more of a Kyrie, and Caitlin's like a Curry. But who would I rather have, Curry or would I rather have Kyrie? It's kind of one way or the other. But yeah, I mean, Caitlin's a special player within herself. I mean, the records that she's already broken, and the fact that the WNBA viewership is down 40% when she doesn't play. So that's the thing. If the WNBA is trying to grow their sport, Caitlin's got to be on the court, and she can't be getting attacked and mauled like she has been when she does play. So, and that's another thing too. People don't realize too this, Jay. Paige doesn't get the ref treatment like Caitlin does. Caitlin gets attacked like a bear out on the court. Paige hasn't gotten that yet. She doesn't have a target on her back, but Caitlin, for some reason, does.
Yeah, I think Caitlin is a little bit more vocal on the court.
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of what and I mean, this is sports, so she has every right to be. So I think that's where you see a lot of that, that physicality come in. I think Paige is a little bit different with her on-court aggression, and that's why you probably don't see that. And Caitlin Clark, I think, she's the bigger draw, right? So she's going to have a lot more eyes, and then, the whistle's going to be a bit different with her as well.
Well, okay, here. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the Caitlin Clark. Joe Burrow is the Paige Bueckers. Joe Burrow is a better passer than Mahomes. He's more accurate. I think he has a better IQ. Patrick is more mobile. Patrick is more, not the traditional type player. Joe is a traditional type quarterback. Paige is the traditional type basketball, like that. Caitlin is just a wild card within herself. She'll pull up from 35 feet out. Paige isn't doing that. Yes, but that's how I see it between the two, and I love it. I think it's a great rivalry between the two, but just also the fact that, like you said, Caitlin's the bigger draw, which it's not a secret. I mean, she has that huge. Did you see the huge portrait she got on the JW Marriott in Indiana for the All-Star? No. It's a 30-story ad of Caitlin Clark on the JW Marriott, the biggest sports graphic ever on the building. Do you remember when Johnny Manziel had that Money Manziel graphic in Cleveland? LeBron had the "I'm coming home." Yeah, I mean, this is insane. I don't know of a WNBA player in recent years that's gotten a graphic like that. She has brought in a whole new light for fans, and it's just remarkable to see. But we gotta talk about this here. She led all players with 1.29 million votes, earning her alongside Nafisia Collier. But the media ranked her third among guards. The media did, but the players voted her ninth best player in the WNBA. Listen, I get it. She's been hurt most of this season, but you mean to sit here and tell me she's the ninth best player in the WNBA this season? The fact that she's averaging 9 assists a game.
So I got a lot of backlash because I actually agree with you here. I think she should easily be ranked higher, a top 5 player. But people in my comments were upset that I said that. They said that she's overrated. And I think it's been a little tough. Like you said, she's been hampered, with some injuries, nagging injuries that lead to other injuries, and it affects gameplay and shooting percentages. But listen, when I look at the game, I know what I see. I don't need a box score to tell me what I'm watching. No. And like you likened her to Mahomes and likened her to Curry, those are the two players I compare to, because when you watch her, she makes magic out of any situation. Magic can occur. Yes. Shot clock's winding down, double team, triple team. She can hit the shot at any moment. Yep. And that's why I say, when you have that kind of talent that you can't teach.
No.
You just have it or you don't, right? And Curry has it, Mahomes has it, players who can just make it happen like that.
Rodgers
And
had it and earlier in
that's
his career when he was
yeah,
younger.
Rodgers as well.
You've seen flashes later in his career later, but more earlier than ever, like the Cowboys wild card game where he rolls out and he pins it to, I forget the tight end's name, who it was, but he pinned it on the sideline. It's like, I mean, like the stuff like that. You know, you don't Josh Allen, Lamar, you can't teach that. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I think, you know, is special about her. She needs to be ranked higher. But
and
hey,
the fact that you even sat here and you agreed with me about that just goes to show you how much you understand basketball. But the fact that people were sitting here and trying to say that she's overrated and oh, she got an A on the group project for when they beat the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup. Do they realize that Caitlin Clark was a driving force behind them getting there when they beat the New York Liberty? When she had 32 that game and had 9 points in 38 seconds. And people realize that? No, they don't. They look at the box score and they see she's been struggling, but it's going to happen. It's sports. Like you're going to go through rough patches in basketball. You're going to go through rough patches in all sports. It's athletes. They have good games. They have bad games, but let's see at the end of the season where she stacks up, where she matches up. And she's been hurt. So I think she was hurt playing in those games and she hasn't really, we've only really seen flashes of her from her rookie year this season. We haven't seen a whole lot, but she's coming back supposedly against the Valkyries tomorrow night, and we're going to see. So we'll see. Maybe she is going through a slump, but tomorrow night, I think she'll be just fine.
Yeah. And when players go through slumps, when they break out, it might be a 9 3-pointer night or a 10 3-pointer night.
Watch out. Exactly. And that's the thing too, like with Steph Curry. I would rather have Steph Curry on my team when he's 1 of 9, because I know shooters shoot. It's like that's just how it is in basketball. Shooters shoot. He can't be 1 of 9. I want him shooting it. That's who I want shooting the ball. So that's how I see it with that. But yeah, I mean she's gonna be just fine. I don't buy into the whole narrative of that. But we got to talk about this part here. Did you watch the 4th of July Joey Chestnut competition at all? Do you get into any of that?
I don't. I mean, Coney. I'm from New York, so Coney Island. I've been a few times. I have never heard of him losing, so I don't know. You got to catch me up here. What went down?
Well, he won his 17th mustard belt. He had over 70 and a half hot dogs in under 10 minutes.
Okay,
but the biggest storyline or the headline of it is that a sport? I don't think hot dog eating is a sport. Would you?
I don't know what kind of training that man does.
How can you say that's a sport? It's competitive eating. He's the best competitive eater of all time.
I got to put my hands up. Listen, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I never heard of him losing.
Of competitive sports eating. That's not a sport. Putting food into your mouth isn't a sport.
Listen, if you're competing, I guess you could call it a sport. They made breakdancing a sport. So
is that a sport?
It was in the Olympics. I think they banned it after that performance, but it was there.
So then hot dog eating should be a sport?
It is a sport that I will never participate in, but I'm gonna call it a sport.
I think it's fucking disgusting. I think it's gross. I didn't have any enjoyment watching that. My friends had it on. I said, this doesn't excite me at all. This doesn't move me. None of that excites me at all. I'm sorry.
Oh, I would never watch, but shout out to Joey.
I would rather watch 1940s black and white basketball highlights than Joey Chestnut stuffing hot dogs into his face, because he even says afterwards he pukes or he basically feels like he's hot dog drunk. That's disgusting. Listen, I get it. Everyone has their own thing, but it's not a sport. It's not a sport. Like, you can't sit here and say he's the greatest of all time. So he compares to Tom Brady or LeBron? What?
17. If he won 17 in a row. He better than Tom.
Dude, it's the nastiest thing in the world. Listen, how many hot dogs can you eat in 10 minutes, do you think?
I eat my hot dogs one at a time.
And he's eating it with the bun too. He's
well, they got a whole strategy down with how they do it. So I guess
it makes me want to throw up. Listen, I could probably eat probably 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Nah, if depends on how hungry I am. Maybe, God, he's eating 70. I'm eating maybe 4 or 5.
One hot dog is enough for me.
I mean, I can eat a whole pizza, but yeah, probably 4 or 5, 3 or 4 maybe. I don't know. More, I can definitely eat more than one, of course, but and he's eating with but I'm eating it like a normal hot dog. I'm not going. I don't want to talk about it. It grosses me out. I honestly don't want to. It just we had to talk about it, but it actually like it grosses me out. It really does. But
hey,
guys, on that note, you're not going to see me doing that. You're not going to see Jay doing that. But that does it for us. Make sure to follow the Inquisitive Mamba podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Make sure to follow Jay Roebuck on TikTok, j.roebuck1, and make sure to follow his Instagram, j.roebuck. We talked about so much on the show. And if you guys have any recommendations or anything you guys want to talk about, it's hard with not a lot of sports going on right now. I mean, we talked about the NBA trades, the WNBA. There's no really free agency going on, so it's going to be like it's going to be very dry for the next few weeks. We're going to be out here in the desert, like feeding for content. We're going to be like I don't know, like lions looking for prey, or we're going to be looking for animals looking for food out in the wild, because there's really not much going on right now. There's not a whole lot. But Jay, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Yes, man. Thank you for having me. And, you know, I look forward to hopefully doing this again. It was a great conversation. So I can't wait to watch the episode like I wasn't even here. Thank you.
I love that. Guys, too. If you're not, with all the stuff going on right now, well, actually, Love Island's probably going to be ending this week, but there's some good shows out right now. Waterfront's really good on Netflix. I'm also like a TV person. Superman is coming out this weekend. F1, I still got to see that. But yeah, Waterfront was really good on Netflix. Squid Game, I just finished season 3. Ooh, yeah. Squid Game was good. You got to watch that. I finally watched it in Korean with the English subtitles and I was watching it first 2 seasons. I was watching it in English, and I wasn't so. But now I got like the full experience. But that's a great show as well.
Okay.
I don't have any other shows other than that because I'm watching Love Island right now. Squid Game, I just finished that. Waterfront, I just watched. That was really good on Netflix. Everything happened so fast with that show. But I don't really have any. Yeah, you got to check out. You got to check out Waterfront. That one's really good. But yeah, guys, we will see you guys next week. Maybe depends if there's anything going on. If not, we'll probably take a week off. We'll see you guys next time.